Olá a todos, bem-vindos a mais um projeto da Associação MVC. Desta vez, o nosso novo projeto chama-se Let's Talk, em português, Vamos Conversar. Este projeto surgiu em parceria com a instituição OIP, Oeste International Partners, e consiste em haver uma conversa semanal entre um estrangeiro e um português. A conversa será realizada em inglês ou na língua que seja mais acessível a ambas as partes. E será uma conversa fluida sobre costumes, experiências, gostos em comum, todos os temas que possam imaginar. Bem-vindos a este novo projeto Let's Talk. Vamos conversar? Hello everybody, welcome to a new project from Associação MVC. This time our new project is called Let's Talk, in Portuguese, Vamos Conversar. This project appeared from a partnership with OIP, Oeste International Partners, and it consists in a weekly conversation between a foreigner and a Portuguese person. These conversations are going to be natural, about experiences, common tastes, and all the themes you can imagine. Welcome to this new project.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello everyone. So today we have Fred with us, and we are here all together, and me, Pedro, Mariana, Pedro, and Fred.
Good evening.
Today Fred is going to talk to us about his country.
Yes.
And what is your
And
country?
our people, Wales.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you want to start saying some traditions and presenting us with some?
I'll tell you a little bit about the history of Wales first, how Wales came to be what.
Okay.
And Wales was created by Celtic tribes from all over Europe, moving over to what was then Brittany. And not the Brittany in France, but Brittany, which is the old word for United Kingdom. And the Celtic tribes migrated to the west of the United Kingdom. And the lower west corner is where Wales is located. And there's a fallacy amongst a lot of people that Wales is part of England, but it's not. It's actually a principality, but we like to think of it as a country.
Okay.
On two of the main interests of Welsh and the Welsh people are rugby and singing, and both are combined very often. When you have rugby matches, rugby internationals, maybe get 75,000 people in the stadium all singing,
Powerful.
which makes a great, amazing sound. And if you ever get a chance to go there, you should. We have many traditions in Wales and lots of symbolism. Our flag has a red dragon on it, which was two schools of thought for how the dragon came to be on the Welsh flag. And one goes back to King Arthur, Arthur of the Round Table. I don't know if you've heard of him. But it's said that Merlin, the wizard, had a vision that he dreamt of two dragons fighting each other, one red and one white. The red dragon represented Wales, and the white dragon represented England, or the Anglo-Saxons, as they were then. And the red dragon won, obviously. But and our other symbols are leek. I don't know what leek is in Portuguese. Is the vegetable with the white and green stem, large vegetable. Yeah, if you say so. Yeah, and a daffodil. Do you know the daffodil flower? Yellow.
Narciso.
Okay,
Yeah.
Narciso. We
So-
have a translator here.
So those are our two sort of main symbols.
Okay.
And on St. David's Day, March the 1st, every year, St. David is our patron saint. And it's customary for children to wear either a daffodil on their shirts or a small leak, and they dress in national costume. So is there anything else, anything you'd like to ask in particular?
Well, you showed us those spoons, right?
Those
Before,
spoons, yes.
and I think that would be interesting if you
Well,
could
these.
explain.
Can I show that to the camera?
Yeah.
These are.
Maybe they can see. Can you show it closer? It's like a spoon, right?
These are traditional love spoons.
This is one. Now another one. That one has the dragon, right?
Yes. That is the Welsh dragon on top.
Yeah.
And so these particular ones were made by artisans in Wales, purely for tourists. But back in the late 19th century, they were made by a prospective husband to give to his girlfriend who he wanted to marry, as a sign of how skillful he was with his hands. So it would prove that he could support her, that he could work, he was skillful, and he could produce something. That's so they wouldn't starve, basically. So the more intricate and better the love spoon gave her, the more skilled he was, and they would have presumably have a better life together.
Does that people from now are making spoons anymore, or
no? It's not. People make them purely for sale to tourists these days. But the traditions died out. You heard many years ago, I'm afraid. But he goes back sort of 300 years. I mean, the Welsh. Wales has been inhabited for 250,000 years, believe it or not. They found evidence in parts of Wales where the earliest inhabitants were sort of 250,000 years ago. So Wales were the first, well, the Welsh were the first inhabitants of the United Kingdom. And basically they spread out from there. And years later, under Henry VII and Henry VIII, they were forced back into Wales. So we were subjugated by the English to a great extent. But that's another history altogether. It goes back to the Battle of Bosworth in 15th century, 1535. But now Wales is free of English subjugation.
Yeah, I have to say that I don't know my country's history as well as you know yours. I don't even know much of
Even if you're saying that, before I decided to do this talk, I didn't realize how much I didn't know about my country. So I had to do a little bit of homework, I must admit. So there were quite a lot of things that surprised me. Do you know the film Lord of the Rings? Yeah. Well, in the film,
I never saw it.
In the film, there are the Elfin people, and the language that they speak is based on the Welsh language.
Oh yeah, that's different from English.
Yes.
The one you sang to us once.
Yes.
We have a question by Joy Bradley. She asks if the love spoons are always made of wood or they can be metal.
They're traditionally made of wood.
Okay.
Yes, made of from ash tree.
Okay. Very interesting. We don't have something in Caldas. We have something not as pretty as love spoons. Do you know our symbol?
No.
From Caldas de Rainha?
No. What is it?
It's, how can I say it nicely?
a penis?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I see that. Yes.
Yeah, you have a romantic.
That was a bit surprising.
Romantic thing, and we have the penis,
yeah.
which is not so romantic. And not so beautiful, but it's what we have. Yeah. So, from you lived all your life in Wales?
No,
or-
I lived in Wales until I was 40 something,
Okay.
and then I moved to England for work because all the mines closed down in Wales, and I worked in the mines in Wales, and I travelled to England basically to work,
Mhm.
and I spent the last some 14 years in Heathrow Airport as an engineer and as an operations manager. But
Okay.
my love is Wales, obviously.
Yeah. But then, after you went to England and everything, why did you choose Portugal?
Well, we'd come here on holidays a few times.
Yeah.
Mostly to the Algarve, which I didn't like at all.
Oh, that's
But,
interesting. Everyone loves Algarve.
They do, yes. It's a bit too commercialized, something like that.
Yeah.
But when we decided to move to Portugal, I wanted to live where the real Portuguese are, and live the Portuguese life rather than the tourist life down in the Algarve. And it's too hot down there anyway. The climate here is more like the climate in the UK. Well, it's a little bit better than the UK.
In the UK, it's very cold, right?
It's very cold. It's snowing today.
Yeah.
So
and raining.
In here,
it rains a lot. But it rains more. It rains more in Wales. It rains a lot
But
more because
Wales
Wales
is
is very
closer-
mountainous.
Oh, okay. I thought it was closer to the ocean.
Well, it is. It is.
Okay.
But because it's very mountainous, we get a lot of precipitation over the mountains.
Yeah. Here in Portugal, we have that precipitation on the north of the country
Yes.
because it is more,
Mountainous, yes.
Yes.
That's right.
and that's why.
Yeah.
And the south part of Portugal is more plain,
Yes.
so
Yes. You get more better climate.
it is more hot, and it
But
rains
where we are,
less.
I forgot to.
Yes.
It's better.
Blinded.
Yeah. But what I was going to say, it's here in our city. The weather, it's not very. We never saw, for example, snow here.
No.
I never saw it because
I
it
think I
happened
believe it has
the
snowed
year-
once.
Yeah,
Yes,
the year I was born, I was a baby.
Oh, was
I
it?
don't remember.
2004.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did. I
I
didn't
don't think it was a
really
heavy
see-
storm. I think it was fairly.
No, yeah, it was
Little.
very soft.
Yeah,
It was
very
just to
light.
say, oh yeah, the snow has been here,
Yeah.
but it was for like hours or a
Yeah.
day. It
Of
was
course,
very soft.
one of the other reasons we moved here is because a lot of the traditions of Wales are here as well. Like you have a lot of choral singing, you have a lot of music,
Yeah,
you have a lot of bands, orchestras. It's a very musical country,
in
Yeah.
Wales, it is a very musical country.
and Portugal.
To the same countries. So, Fred is you. It's a very interesting question. The one it's here in schools in Wales. Do you speak English or
When I was in school in Wales, we spoke English.
Okay.
It was primarily English. Nowadays, there are a lot of Welsh-only schools,
okay?
and my grandchildren were taught bilingually,
Okay.
so they speak
But-
both Welsh and
For
English.
example, everyone in Wales knows how to speak Welsh.
No.
Or-
There's about 750,000 Welsh speakers in Wales at the present time.
Okay.
Most of them are located to the north and northwest Wales.
But you can speak fluently or
Me, no. I speak a little Welsh,
Okay.
but yeah,
that's interesting.
I sing more in Welsh, but I don't speak it so much.
Here in Portugal, we have another language. I don't remember how it's called, but we have one too that is only spoken and in a region
Okay,
of Portugal.
I said, wait, who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
I can't
Maybe I
remember.
know, but
Maybe someone in the comments know it.
we have another question for you from Luna Young. She's asking if you can pronounce the longest railway station name in Wales.
It's it's Llanfair Pwllgwyngyll Gogerych Llyntrodd, Llantysilio Gogogoch.
Go, go, go. That's the only part I understood. Okay.
It's the longest railway station name in the world.
Oh, here we have an information from Gerald Williams. Did you know that 4 of the first 5 presidents of the USA were of Welsh descent? And Washington wasn't, but
Yes.
his wife was.
Yes. And also, some people don't know Henry VIII, the King of England. He had 6 wives. He was also Welsh. He didn't have 6 wives all at once.
Okay.
He beheaded.
Okay.
And strangely enough, St. Patrick, the patron saint of Ireland, is also believed to have been Welsh.
Oh, that's interesting. Anna Brazil is asking if you can tell us how to say hello in Welsh, and thank you.
Thank you. I could have just gone out of my head for a minute. I'll get back to you on that one, Anna.
So, another question. I know that you studied your country before you came here
Yes.
to present us with all the history from your country, but in school, do you learn much of the history that you spoke to us? Or
No, they do now. They do now.
That's weird because
yeah,
they're learning.
Because when I was in school, we were taught the history of England.
Yeah. Okay.
And taught very little about our own history.
Yeah.
It's only what you pick up from your family and your relations in relating to the history of Wales.
Yeah. Yeah, but for example, like us in Portugal, we learn about all the history pretty much. It's in general, but from our country, we learn our own history, but it's in school, so we forget everything. It's not very interesting for us to learn. But I don't know, maybe we're not taught the part of the history that we would love or like to know.
Yeah.
Like you were interested in your own history when you studied. Yeah.
Well, during the 16th century, Wales was divided up into small kingdoms. In fact, the whole United Kingdom was divided up into small kingdoms. There were 8, 9, 10 different kings of Wessex and Essex, and Wales had 3 or 4 kings. And during the time of Henry VII, he united Wales and annexed it to England. And then his successor, Henry VIII, created Wales as it is today.
Okay.
So it's now, as I said earlier, it's considered a principality. Officially, it's a principality, and that's why the heir to the throne is always the Prince of Wales. And but we, the Welsh, we like to think of it as our own country. We don't like to think that we're sort of part of England.
Yeah. You were talking to us about music and how your country is a very musical country.
Well, we have a tradition of poetry and singing that goes back to 250 years. The first choirs were formed in South Wales, and that mainly came about from singing in churches and chapels. And the first choir was formed in a place called Aberdare in South Wales. And one of the choirs, the Treorchy Male Voice Choir, was invited to sing for Queen Victoria in 1895. And she said they were perfect gentlemen and sang like angels.
That's when it started.
That's when it was around that time that choral singing became really popular. And now the Treorchy Male Voice Choir is famous all over the world. It has roughly 200 members, and they've been world champions 3 times. So that's how fun it goes back.
Yeah. You have a choir here in Portugal, right?
I formed a choir. It was a year last October.
Yeah.
And it's mostly female. We do have some. We do have some men, but not too many.
But it's important to have both, right?
It's very
The voices are
very
very
important
different.
if you want to get a blend of
Yeah.
voices. Yes.
With only women or men, it becomes very. It's very you just, for example, if you have very high voices from women, it becomes very confusing
Yeah,
and
yes, that's true. Yes,
not very.
that's true. Yes, it's better to be balanced with the male voices as well. But then again, with the male-only choir, particularly in Wales, because of the way we speak and the tonal quality of our voices, we have a high octave range. So we have a lot of top tenors.
Yeah.
You know, they can reach quite high notes.
But you're professionals from birth. We have a question here. I was just going to ask you something. You don't know how to speak Welsh very fluently,
No.
but you can sing Welsh.
Yes.
Is it because you learned the
We
songs?
we were taught Welsh songs in school. We sang them in assembly every morning. So you learn quite a lot of.
Yeah, you don't learn the language, but you learn songs. Yeah.
Which is as important.
Yeah.
Really.
It's very interesting that way of teaching.
Yes.
Here we have a question from Nadia. Tell us some differences between England and Wales. Geography, weather, language differences in general.
The question again?
Tell us some differences between England and Wales.
Between England and Wales. I think the Welsh are more patriotic. They are friendlier. I think the Welsh are very friendly. Very friendly. We're very, very open, welcoming. The English tend to be a little reserved and keep themselves to themselves quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I don't offend my English friends that live here in Cardiff. I love you all. But I think it's widely believed that the Welsh are very, very friendly and hospitable people.
When you went to England from Wales, did you feel that difference?
I did, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very evident, particularly in London.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, you can walk. I suppose it's the same with any big city, really.
Yeah.
You feel very small in a big city.
Yeah.
Whereas where I come from in Wales, we have lots of small communities, and everyone knows everyone else.
Yeah, here in Portugal we also have that spirit.
Yeah.
But it's very important to have that way of receiving people.
Yeah.
In Portugal, did you feel that difference between England and
no,
Spain?
I find the Portuguese people are so welcoming, so warm, and friendly. I mean, I've got no complaints at all about the people in Portugal. I love them. They're great. Yeah.
But do you know more cities than ours?
Not a lot, really. No. I mean, we travelled around quite a bit before we decided to settle in this area. You know, but not to the extent that I got to know the places really well.
Okay.
But now I'm retired, and
You have
we have
more
time
time.
to more time to
Yeah.
explore.
But actually, I think that we can see that difference that you said. For example, here, I think that we are more welcoming than, for example, Algarve,
Yeah.
because people are. I mean, Portuguese people work for tourists, which
I think
is,
they're more business oriented
yeah,
in
and
the Algarve.
yeah, but more to the north, people are quite different than us and
Are they,
south. Yeah, but they are welcoming also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we have another comment asking for you to tell us famous Welsh people
famous Welsh people?
that we can know of.
Tom Jones, the singer.
I don't know. Probably I know, but no.
No, well, he's he's quite old now, but so you may not know him. Catherine Zeta-Jones, the actress.
Yeah, probably. I
Yeah,
think that I
she
recognize the
married
name.
Kirk Douglas's son.
Michael
Douglas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
She-
I
she
think that I
married-
recognize the name.
Yeah.
I'm not very good
So,
with names.
I mean, there are loads of famous Welsh people. Shirley Bassey. No, Shirley Bassey.
I don't know. I'm not good with names. But
No.
if you know, just let us know. Comment. Yes, I know that one.
Okay. Yeah, Shirley Bassey, and Ivan Bevan. He created the National Health Service in Wales.
Oh, okay.
He was Welsh.
Okay.
Let me see.
Anthony Hopkins.
I think now.
Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins.
Okay. That's one I know.
Yes.
Do you know some Portuguese people from Portugal?
Famous ones?
Yeah.
No.
For example, Cristiano Ronaldo, the
I know
soccer player.
Ronaldo. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone knows Ronaldo.
I was asking like, don't you know that? But my uncle, the one who wrote the book, he has a girlfriend. They live in Poland, and she knows all the popular singers. And then lives in Poland, but they listen to a lot of popular songs from Portugal.
That's right.
Yeah. And so when they met, she knew a song from Toy, which is a terrible singer, but everyone knows their songs, and she knew the lyrics, and they didn't even meet, and she was not Portuguese at all, and she knew the lyrics. So maybe you could know.
Talking about terrible singers, you talk to anyone from the United Kingdom, and you tell them that you're from Wales, and they automatically assume that you can sing.
Yeah.
Because everyone sings in Wales.
Yeah.
And there's a saying
that's very good.
There's a saying that not everyone in Wales can sing, but all Welsh people sing.
Sing, yeah.
Not necessarily good.
I have to ask you a thing. Do you know a very como é que se diz conhecido?
Popular?
Uh,
Famous? No?
It's not known. We have something in Portugal that is acquired, that is very famous. It calls Canto Alentejano.
Okay.
Do you
It's
know?
from Alentejo, near to Algarve.
Alentejo.
Yeah. Do you know Alentejo?
I think, yes.
It is a popular thing
I mean,
that we have in Portugal.
I've been to quite a few choirs around this area.
But in this area, we didn't think that it is
That's
something special from Alentejo.
Okay.
Yeah, specific.
Yeah. Okay.
You have to look for it.
I should do, yes.
It is only men singing.
Yeah.
They have a kind of dance. They're always like
they
this.
are.
Okay.
They
Do they sing mainly ballads or?
It's like something to the, I don't know, to the earth, I think.
I never really understood.
The weather or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's like that.
Yeah.
I mean, in Welsh school, we sing mainly a lot of hymns
Mm-hmm.
or religious music. and more lately, this last few years, they started to sing more modern type music.
But do you like those religious songs, or do you prefer some other kind?
I prefer all types.
I
That's,
have to ask another thing. Is Liverpool from Wales?
No,
No,
but Liverpool is close to it.
because they have the dragon.
Yes, they have
And-
a similar tonal quality to their voice. The way the Liverpudlians, as they're known, the way they speak, because they're on the. It's actually Liverpool is actually on the border with North Wales,
Okay.
so there's that crossover between the Welsh and the English.
The soccer team, they have a dragon, and
Yes,
they all sing together.
that's
So
right. That's right. Yes.
I assume that they were Welsh.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I have to say, Luna is helping you, and she sang, I don't know how to read this, but you can read how it's thank you in Welsh.
John Campbell. Yes.
I would probably read it like Jolch in phone
Yes.
and-
Diolch yn fawr.
here.
Shwmai.
I think-
Shemai,
Shwmai.
it's easier.
To me, Welsh is like German.
A lot
it's
of it
very
comes from
similar.
Germany. A lot of it comes from Germany. Well, because the Celtic tribes came from all over Europe,
Okay,
then there was a mixture of languages,
yeah,
and over centuries it developed from all these different languages into Welsh. There's a motif here. On this crest here. This is the Prince of Wales crest. This is a Welsh rugby jersey,
yeah.
Mhm.
and it says "Ich dien," means I serve in German. But the Welsh translation, "Ich dien," means
Okay.
my man.
Hmm.
So it's
Okay.
it's related to servitude to some extent.
Mhm. Okay. So, but probably the ones who lived there in Wales were German, right? A lot, yeah.
Lots and lots
A mix of
nationalities.
languages.
Yeah.
What about Welsh food?
Welsh
Food.
fruit,
Food.
food.
Yeah.
Oh, food. Sorry.
That's okay.
We have one famous food, really, which is really not very nice. It's called lava bread, and it's made from seaweed,
Mhm.
and it's processed and it's black,
Um,
and you eat it normally with ham or risotto
okay.
or some type of bacon, and it can be eaten with shellfish.
Okay.
And we have a traditional bread called barabrith, which is fruit bread,
Okay.
which is particular to Wales as well,
Mhm.
and Welsh cakes, which are small oval discs of pastry filled with fruit.
Okay.
And we don't have a lot of particularly Welsh foods as
Yeah.
such.
Here in Portugal, we are
Yeah.
very
Lunch.
connected with food. We love to eat. I
Yes,
don't.
yeah, I noticed.
Every Portuguese
noticed.
person.
I put on about 10 kilos since I've been here.
But at least it's better than your bread.
You like a lot of chicken.
Yeah.
I love chicken.
We
here.
eat a lot of chicken,
Yeah.
cooked in many different
Frango
ways.
Serrano
Yeah.
is everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for KFC to open.
Hmm?
I'm waiting for KFC,
Yeah.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
But it's very different.
It
but-
is very.
It's also good, but it's not
Yeah.
ours.
No.
But we like to cook a lot of
We cook-
difficult plates.
Yes.
If you try to cook it, it takes a
Yeah.
lot of time.
I must learn to cook some. I've tried your rice pudding.
Okay.
I've cooked your rice pudding once. It turned out okay. Not perfect.
We cook a lot of codfish.
Yes, bacalhau.
bacalhau, sim.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Uh,
But I don't like it
do you like
dried. I like
served?
it fresh.
Okay. I have never tried fresh.
Have you not? No.
No. Because we here in Portugal we always
Well, one of the traditional foods in Wales and England is fish and chips.
yeah.
Okay, that's very weird for us.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
But it's fresh.
Fish and
It's
chips.
fresh cooked
Mhm.
in a batter, coated in sort of flour and eggs
Mhm.
mixed, dipped,
But
fried.
we also eat yeah, a lot of bacalhau. It's very important.
Mhm.
But
And
do you eat it in soup or?
it depends,
No,
but not
it is
especially. We
yeah.
eat it.
But the more some years ago we didn't have like fridges and something and we
The
have
way we conserve
meat
conserved meat was
were
with salt.
yeah.
Yes.
A lot of salt.
So
Yeah.
there are some foods that
Are very salty because of that.
Yeah.
not salty, but we use that meat in that food.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like cozido à portuguesa.
But
It's like
is salt? Do you use a lot of salt in your food?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very important for us.
it's like
So-
salt and olive oil.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
But the
it's
olive oil
nice.
is the olive oil is good, but the salt is not.
Yeah, but I think that you, for example, we got used to it because it's the only thing
Yes,
we
part
eat.
of, yes, part of
And-
your diet.
Sometimes when, for example, in our families, traditionally it's the oldest woman that cooks.
Yeah.
And for example, when my grandma doesn't salty the food enough, everyone is like, "This is not salty enough, and this
Yeah,
is not good." And because we are very used to salty things,
Yeah.
and
Well,
very important.
I've ate your grandma's bread.
oh, yeah, you went to her
Yes,
house.
yes, and she's a good cook.
Yeah,
She's a very
but
good cook.
the bread that they make is from my grandfather. He
Is it?
loves to
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
to make his bread.
Yes, it was
It's
very
his
nice.
specialty.
It was very nice.
Yeah, but it's very common for us to, for example, in his family, he doesn't have grandmothers. His mother is the one who cooks,
Okay.
Yeah.
and it's like a tradition in Portugal, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
And but all of grandmothers knows how to cook.
But yeah, but it's taught that the grandmas teach the daughters,
Yeah,
daughters teach the grandchildren.
yeah. But for example, when my grandmother was my age, in school they had a subject that was for cooking.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So-
when I was in school as well,
Yeah,
we had
and-
called
yeah.
domestic science.
Yeah, she also had domestic tasks
Yeah.
to learn. For example, nowadays many people don't know how to cook or clean their house, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
maybe we should try learning again.
Yeah.
Here, Joy Bradley is asking if Welsh gold is rare.
Welsh gold is very rare, and it's only used these days as wedding rings for the royal family.
Yeah.
There's a store of it kept purposely for royal weddings.
Okay.
And but I understand there's a mine that is going to reopen in Wales to try and extract more gold because the royal family is running short of. There's going to be too many weddings in the royal family.
There are too many. And here Anne is I have to try it as my grandmother cooked it. Probably she was talking about the sweet rice. She says that it was the best. I mean, she's saying that my grandmother is a great cook.
Actually, well, she is.
Yeah. I'm not. But anyways. And for example, out of all of these, the traditions that you told us, for example, the spoons, do you have here in Portugal? We are also connected to things with what's another thing? With our hands.
Handmade
Yeah,
stuff.
handmade stuff.
Oh yes, yes.
We
yes.
are very connected to that kind of
Yes.
jobs also.
Yes.
But
Here in Caldas we have the ceramics
That's right. Yes.
Yeah, but in Wales, is that the only thing that you can make?
No, I mean a lot of us like to work with our hands.
Okay.
I'm no exception. I like to work with wood, and I've made several things since I've been here.
Okay.
Some I'm doing some now for the soup kitchen here in Cardiff, which I enjoy.
Yeah, but it's not connected to spoons.
It's not connected. In a way, it is
Okay.
because the skills you would learn to make one of these, for example, you would use on making other things.
Okay.
You know, I mean, to make something like this or this, it's very exacting, and you have to be very careful. One slip, and you've cut it in half. You know, stuff like that.
I couldn't do it. That's our connection with our hands. It's very important.
Yeah.
So do you have any questions for us Portuguese people?
How did choral singing come to be in Portugal? What's the background behind it?
Yeah, me neither.
We don't know. Actually, I never, before I knew you, I never even were with paying attention to choirs around us. Actually, the only choirs I knew was from churches, because in every church, in every Catholic church, you have a choir, terrible choir, but anyways, there are very old ladies or very bad singers, and that's what we know from choirs. But I never really thought about choirs in Portugal.
Yeah.
We know a lot of bands, and that's a thing that we do naturally.
And Caldas Diana is associated with the Queen of Portugal, obviously, hence the name. But is there a day that you celebrate?
Yeah, we
the
celebrate
Queen's Day.
I don't think that's the Queen Day. Kiss my.
No.
We have a holiday that's 15 from May. Honestly, I already knew the history, but I don't remember. But I honestly don't think that we have something related to the Queen. We have Hospital Termal,
the oldest hospital
in Portugal, I think.
in the world.
In the world.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that developed with the springs, the hot water.
Yeah, but do you know the story from that?
I think I was told it once. Yeah, but you can remind me. Go on.
Okay, so this one I know. So this queen, Rainha Dona Leonor, her name was Leonor. She came to Caldas. She had a disease from respiration, lungs. Yeah,
Yes.
she couldn't breathe very well, so she had tried every medicine that everyone knew by then. And then she came to Caldas and tried some waters that were hot in here. She just tried it.
Yeah.
So let's see what this piece of smelly water does.
Some people were here
to heal.
Yeah.
And then she tried it, and once she was healed.
Yeah, good.
She was good. She built an hospital.
In honor to the Caldense.
Yeah.
And when was that?
I don't know. I don't remember how many years, but I'll see and I'll tell you.
Okay.
And yeah, but for example, my mom, that's 41, she already went there when she was little because she had a ears problem or something.
Okay.
And the doctor told her that could heal her. So we still use those waters to heal our.
Today.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the hospital was actually rebuilt bigger. They made it bigger so that more people could go there, because there are some treatments that we use to
We don't have anything like that in Wales, I don't think.
But for example, not many people
It
know
was,
Caldas da Rainha.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So probably you
from-
don't. There's something magical in your
Well,
country.
I didn't know about it until we came here.
It's from the 15th century.
Okay,
Yeah.
it goes back quite a bit then.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that she got better after she took a bath in
So
our
with
water.
this hospital here would have been one of the first hospitals in Portugal.
I don't know if
Probably.
it was, but the with water like thermal. I don't know. If
Yeah.
So thermal is the
The only
Yeah.
one.
the oldest of the entire world.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Even if you go there and look at the hospital now, it's different. But you can see that's not built very modern.
Yes.
That's not modern. You can see the differences. Now they built it different because it's higher now.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there were people needing to go there, and now it
Yeah.
has different different
Is it more
treatments.
modern? It's more modern.
Yeah.
In the years ago, people come to college to go to the hospital.
Okay.
So it was
Because this
a
hospital
very,
is unique.
yeah, it is.
You can't get this treatment in Lisbon, for example.
Yeah.
Because here in Caldas, if we have a special treatment, we usually go to Lisbon because it's a big city and has big hospitals
Yeah,
and
yeah.
specialized hospitals.
Yeah.
But like this, it's the only one. And
And
honestly, I
people
don't.
from the entire Portugal
Yeah.
came to here.
Tell me what I've noticed a lot of people play the accordion. You know,
Mhm.
that musical instrument with,
Yeah.
with the bellows. Why is that so popular?
I never
But
thought
because you
about
get,
that, but
as I've
it's
seen,
very
there's like
popular.
lots of you
Yeah.
get groups of like 5 or
Mhm.
6 accordionists.
Yeah, for
They
example,
play-
yeah, but that's very common in, for example, when I was little, I always associated that instrument to popular songs, terrible songs, those ones
Okay,
I was
yeah.
telling you about, because most of those musicians play that instrument, but it's very common in classical music. People really use it to anything.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I didn't.
Do you know the harp? Do you know a harp?
Mhm.
It's sort of a
Okay.
triangular.
Yeah.
Yeah, with
See.
the strings.
Yes.
Well, in Wales, we have what's called a treble harp,
Okay.
and it has 3 sets of strings,
Oh.
and it's particular to Wales, only Wales.
But it's smaller
Yeah.
than the
It's
other
no, it's
one.
bigger.
It's
It's
bigger.
bigger.
It's bigger than a traditional harp. The Welsh harp is sort of I don't know,
No.
6, 7, or 2 meters, over 2 meters tall,
Wow.
and actually it has 54 strings. Something. Yeah.
I was thinking about the small harp of the next
Like the angel type.
Yeah, yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. No, this is a big one. This is really big.
Yeah, but yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah.
So, do you have any questions for us?
No.
We cannot answer
have-
to you
we have-
historical questions because we don't know on history.
No problem at all.
We have
I'm so ashamed.
I've enjoyed talking to you.
is here a comment saying to you to count from 1 to 10 in Welsh.
Anyways. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
Do you know how to count in Portugal? In Portuguese?
1, 2, 3, 4,
5.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I don't know how to count in Welsh. Sorry. But I can count in
I'll teach you the wrong station name.
Oh, that's very
Yeah.
hard. I thought that you were saying
It's easy because we abbreviate it to Llanfair PG. Instead of Llanfair Pwllgwyngyll, Gwyngyll, Llanfairpwll, Llandyssilio, Gwyngyll.
But
They
why
say
is
Llanfair-
that name?
Llanfair PG.
But that's a word.
Basically, it was a word that was made up
Or? Okay.
to make this railway station and the area famous.
Okay.
So they said, right, we're going to have the longest
Yeah.
station name in the world. It's a sentence of
Yeah.
the little church that's close to the railway station in Llanfair.
Hmm.
But it was purely a made up.
Okay, that's why it's so big.
That's why it's so big.
Yeah.
Yes.
But your words, when you were saying counting, we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you were like, it never ended. And I was like, oh, that's so big. Every word must be huge. Fred, it was very nice to talk to you and very interesting. And now I'm sure that I have to learn more about my own country and my own city that's so small and probably has so much experience.
And I've learned some things that I didn't know as well.
We couldn't teach you very much because we also know.
You learn something every day.
Yeah, we know about other things if you want.
Yeah.
If you, for example, what do we know?
I can.
I mean, Pedro's a good guitarist, and you taught yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am a self-learner, but I can tell you about the penis thing here in the city.
That's why we'll do that again.
But it is a thing that were a chapel where people that have diseases build something like in wood and put there because they think that they were fine if
they gave something.
Okay.
Like eles ficavam bons.
Something sort of life-giving type thing.
No, it's like they build that and put that in the small church, and the God will heal them.
Okay.
And so there were some penis diseases, and people build
People
like
I think we prefer to call them phallic symbols.
yeah. They build that in wood in the
Gave to God.
yeah, and then people discover it and made it famous.
I couldn't believe when I saw the little shop down and no, it was.
There is a shop that
street
says Carolines or uma coisa assim, né?
Yeah.
It's a bad word, but we have a store called a bad word in Portugal. It's very stupid.
But the symbol could be like a line or a leg, but
yeah,
no,
it could be something else.
I prefer the dragon.
No.
I prefer the Welsh dragon.
Yeah, but we have a things. Anyways, it was very nice to talk to you about whales and penises. It was the best part of it.
Nice talking to you.
It's very good to talk about our own city. It's so lovely for everyone. But it was very interesting. Thank you. And now when I see a movie about whales, I'll be looking at it differently.
Yes.
So thank you, everyone. We can thank everyone that's here.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your questions. I'm sorry about the answers, but the questions were great.
So yeah, goodbye to everyone.
Goodbye.
Next week
Bye-bye.
we'll have another talk, I think. So come back next Monday. Yeah, that's it. Bye.